Whoopsie daisies. There we go. Trying to get used to the ground handling on this, and it's not really going as well as I'd hoped. I will also say the Warthog throttle, or sorry, the Warthog stick rather, is not badly designed ergonomically. Words are hard, but for someone with like really weirdly long spidery fingers like me, it's really awkward. Like everything's too close. Okay, we are on the runway. Let's do this. to about 4.5, 5 kilometers, I think. I don't want to go much higher than that because I start losing engine performance quite badly. I've also got to keep an eye on my fuel. I'm running a bit lighter than I normally would. I think I'm sitting about 60%, something like that. That's about 5,000. Maybe we won't. Should be off my right wing somewhere. Not sure how long the stream's going to be. I've got an appointment to go to later today, so I'll probably be streaming a bit this morning and a bit this afternoon. Probably be doing some more dogfighting in DCS with Tawny and the boys later on, but there's going to be a bit of a break in between. Down there somewhere. Looking for any kind of hint of enemy. Traces coming up from the ground or towards the ground. Or flat bursts. You might even see the aircraft itself if I'm lucky. But I'm mostly looking for ground fire. Right over about there somewhere. Just right at the railway line. Absolutely brilliant. I love when it does that. Okay, let's try that again. Actually, no, I'll fly from Starica. Let's head basically straight south. Pignex. Yeah, so that was great. We got pretty much over to the target and immediately dropped connection. That was my internet because I checked. OBS got knocked out as well, so sorry about that, guys. Right. Knowing my luck now, once I get in the air, the mission will end. That is not what I intended to happen, at all. Can we turn left, please? There we go. start this corner again. Still trying to get the hang of taxiing this. Making slow progress. Yeah, very advanced. My friend play Prey today. Nice. I don't think I've actually seen it. Or I might have, like, caught a little bit of it, I think, when CJ was playing it, but I haven't actually really seen any gameplay of it. I was going to get on the Cold War server because it had like 15 people on it earlier, but then I realised that 13 of them were on red, so there was a shitload of MiG-21s, and Alpenwolf himself, the server owner, was in the GCI slot, but there were only 2 people on blue. One of them was in a helicopter, the other one was in a Viggen, so I thought, well, I don't have any blue Cold War, well, I have the Viggen, but I'm not good at it, so I don't have the F5. So there was not much point me getting on the server and making the team stack even worse, which is a shame. I do like playing on that server, I just never get a chance to do it thanks to time zones. Yeah, I have such a disgustingly long games backlog, and it just gets bloated as well when I get the feeling I want to replay something. So like, I want to redo Dishonored, then I want to play Dishonored 2, I want to redo the entire, well, I don't have Invisible War, but I want to redo Deus Ex, sorry, the original Human Revolution, and then play Mankind Divided, which I think I have. I don't even remember if I have Mankind Divided. I know I wanted it. try the Zen demo for Black Mesa? No, I didn't know it was out. I'll have to try that later. Who knows, maybe after DCS this afternoon I can try it out on stream. Some wild shit? Yeah, I'd imagine. I know that they were putting a lot of time and effort into reworking it to try and make the gameplay a little more interesting without, like, departing from Half-Life's spirit. Which is the way to do a remake, in my opinion. Like, you don't want it to be totally different, you want it to feel like the original, but you want to make little changes here and there. Kind of like what the Fallout 4 New Vegas mod team's doing as well. It doesn't have to be a one-to-one recreation, but it has to feel right in spirit. Unlike a certain sequel to a certain Eastern Front World War II game I can think of. Sadly. So for you guys just arriving, I have got an appointment to go to in a couple hours, so I'm not sure how long this stream will be, but I will be back on later today to do some DCS dogfighting. Yeah, exactly, Max. It's absolutely brilliant. I kind of, so I was reading some news about their work on Zen, I think it was like a couple months ago, and I completely blanked on how old that game is now. I thought it was much more recently released. Then again, as you guys may have noticed, I exist in a bizarre kind of time-space anomaly, or space-time anomaly, where my brain can't compute years past about 2000. And I have no idea what day it is or what month it is, and I have no... I can't... Yeah, exactly. I can't place things on a timeline. I have... basically, I have to reference it against something else. So, if I don't have a reference for it, I don't know where the fuck it's supposed to go on there. Bro, Frontier Psychiatrist, I was playing it, I put on Song Request on... Selmon stream the other day. Frontier Psychiatrist is 20 years old. It was recorded in 1999 and released in 2000. That song is 20 years old. Of course, now they're fucking up my airfield. Shit. There's a German under me somewhere. I don't know where. They'll be around here. There we go. Not sure what it is. Twin engine by the looks of it. It's quite large. Put in some skids so we don't overspeed. Not too much anyway. There he is. Oh, is that a JU-87? It might be. It's quite hard to see now I get close to him. They are working on the spotting in this game, which is very good news. I don't know how much it'll help. I don't know if it'll ever get to Cliffs of Dover level, but at least they are working on it. Yeah, that's a Stuka by the looks of it. We're just going to weave around behind him. I don't want to bleed too much airspeed. That's exactly what it is. Hopefully he doesn't have an escort, or we will be in trouble here. Of course he hits my engine. The AI gunners are absolute snipers. tank. He's leaking something as well. Please, engine, please. Just a little bit longer. Oh, fuck me. These gunners. Yeah, exactly. I do need to work on it. No. No, 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 no. No, you're not doing that. Okay, I'm leaking oil. I do actually need to get away from here. We'll start babying the engine a little. Pretty sure I'm over friendly territory. I just don't want to risk it. He was leaking something as well, to like fuel maybe some coolant. Don't know if he'll make it home, he probably will. Got plenty of potential landing sites at least. Just make sure he's not behind me. Not that I can really see. I think the engine's going to quit here in a minute. Just had a brainwave regarding why my bombs keep missing. Oh yeah. He could have been manually gunning, to be fair. I was kind of quite slow and just snaking around over the top of him. But yeah, I tend to have a bad day whenever I get near anything with a gunner. I also have a bad habit. I wasn't doing it there as much, but I also have a bad habit where I tend to sit on the tail of things too much, instead of slashing in like I should be. Altimeter setting? Yeah, that could be it. Definitely be it. See, part of the problem when I'm making quick attacks like that in the AUG is I've centered my view quite high, and the reason I've done that is so I have better forwards visibility and I can see the fuel gauges without having to like get up out of my chair. But it means when it comes to combat I have to pull my head down like this, which is quite awkward, and it's hard to head track normally like that. So I may need to rethink that. I've done it for a couple of aircraft, but it is sometimes an issue. I can't quite get my head behind the sight quick enough. And I just don't have the instinctive aim yet in this. I can do it in the Mirage, in DCS. I don't even need to be looking out the front of the aircraft to know where to aim, but there goes the engine. Okay, and we're heading more or less northeast, so definitely over friendly territory. There's a bunch of lovely big open fields in front of me. Gun sight's overrated, yeah, I know. I just gotta get that instinctive feel for it and then I'll be sweet. May as well drop the flaps now. There's no concerns of whether I'm going to make it. I'm surrounded by open fields. I think I'll go to this one on my right side. That's probably my best shot. gently steer it in. Unfortunately, I don't think the propeller's blades are animated in this like they are in Cliffs of Dover, so even if I feather the prop, it doesn't help much with visibility. There we go. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's animated. It's just sitting still. But there we go. Nice, smooth, easy belly landing. I get a lot of practice at that. They are animated? Really? Maybe this is one that needs oil pressure to run. Crash better than I land. I've had a lot of practice, Max. Let's just say I have a very aggressive playstyle, which more often than not ends up with me in the middle of about 10 enemy aircraft alone. So I've got very good at nursing damaged aircraft home. Can't manually control prop pitch in Yak, only certain aircraft. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So there's no... The constant speed unit must work differently then, because at least in Cliffs of Dover, the Spit Mark 1 with the constant speed prop, you can actually see it turning as you change the revs. But yeah, nice easy landing. Nothing fell off either. In Spit you can do it here? Ah, okay. I haven't flown the Spit that much in this. I only have the Mark 5. Sadly, I don't have the Mark 9 yet. I'm devoid of aircraft in this game. I got a couple, but not very many. And at the moment, I don't really have enough to buy all the ones I want, so... Priority's kind of PC hardware, so DCS runs smoothly, then DCS modules, then this. If you have a feathered prop, it will even start to spin a bit when you reach high enough speed and reacts to you rolling. Nice. Don't think we would have got him. He's probably made it back to base. I did land a couple hits, but they weren't very good ones. Pretty sure he was definitely leaking fuel. I think he had coolant coming out as well. Oh wow. Yeah, that's really impressive. Okay, let's get this thing moving. Actually, here's a question, you might know the answer to this, Krup. If I lock the tail wheel, it'll lock in the position it's currently rotated at, right? Or does it somehow reset itself? I'm assuming it locks at its current rotation, but maybe there's like a detent or something that it swings back into. Won't lock until it reaches center again? Oh, okay, that simplifies things. Probably should have opened that a bit sooner. Oh, I think I got the sound bug. Yep. I have to restart the game after this flight to fix it. This one does. The Yak 1 Series 69 does. I don't know about the later ones. I know the Spit doesn't. The Spit never had a tail wheel lock, you just had to hold the stick back and hope for the best. So what you're hearing right now is the prop sound, like the prop wash. You can't hear the engine because the engine sound is bugged out. I always forget to pull the stick back in the 190 and do a donut or two. Until very recently, my attempts at ground handling this aircraft involved at least 2 donuts before I could get going in a straight line. I was taxiing a bit fast and I was a little slow to lock and unlock the tail wheel, and also with the rudder issues I was having before Jammer hooked me up with this fix. It was not pleasant. It's still a little squirrely, more so than I'm used to, but it's not nearly as bad now. It really was the altimeter setting? Nice. Glad you got it fixed. Now if only they'd fixed the kneeboard and all the other shit they broke. It's a real shame the Viggen's gun sight is so bad for air-to-air. I mean, I know it's not designed to do air-to-air, but it's a shame. Because even with the compressor stalls, that thing would be so fun to fly in a dogfight, if only the aim point wasn't a piece of shit. I've tried using it with the ACAN pods, and it's just impossible to aim. You have to do it basically by following the traces in, and adjusting off them. Which is, obviously, it works against transports, but it's not ideal against a fighter. Pull up into a bit more of a climb here. Go cover the artillery, maybe. I hope they fix this sound bug soon. It's really annoying because it takes a while to start the game back up for me. Hey, Lex. Another yak. There he is. See, I always assumed these two big handles were for recocking the machine guns that fire through the cowling, but no, that's what the red handles are. So I don't know what these two handles are for, unless they're just hand grips for something, I don't know. Very bizarre. Kind of takes up real estate, which would be better used, in my opinion, by an artificial horizon and a vertical velocity indicator, but what do I know? Emergency triggers, maybe? Perhaps? I don't know. Be very weird, though. Like, why would you have two separate ones? You'd want to just run them off the same thing. Pull out the MGs for maintenance? I suppose it could be. But I wouldn't think they'd pull them backwards, surely. They'd pull them out through the top. Forgot to switch gears. Brown handles, those are the MGs. So is that actually the back of them or something? I thought the reload... Well, no, like, the three red ones are actually labelled reload. So why would they have three red levers to reload and then the two big ones too? I don't know. It seems a bit odd. I can't even remember what the reload is. Is it shifter? Controller? No, it's not controller. Okay, artillery's down there somewhere. Figure out where exactly. Right on the edge of town. I think I can see it from here. Just in that little tree line that runs out from the corner of the town. You're already way ahead of me, Knex. I don't use computers or, you know, bomb sites. I just use the old TLAR site. That looks about right. I'm not sure why my aircraft's shaking, but I don't think I like it. Not having the engine sound there as a cue is really bizarre and kind of discombobulating. Like, I'm not sure if the engine's running rough and that's why I'm shaking, or if I'm just in a little bit of turbulent air, or what's going on. Oh yeah, my gut feeling for bombing is trash. Like, I almost never hit what I'm aiming at. That's why I generally don't do ground attack. See, I'm not really into ground attack unless it's players on the receiving end, or I'm supporting players. So, in armor, it's fun, because there's actual players down there as infantry and vehicles, but in something like DCS, where even if they're in combined arms, it's most likely not going to be a player in direct control, it's just not the same for me. I also really enjoy when I am playing armor or something and I'm on the receiving end of either enemy air support or friendly air support. Watching it from the ground is really something else. The few times I've had angry Mi-24s come after me in armor have been horrifying. Those things are scary as all hell. After this flight, I'm going to restart the game to fix the sound bug. It's annoying, but it's less annoying than not having sound. So again, that's not the engine you can hear, that's the prop wash. Love ground attack, you know why? How it's socialized with the KA-50 and A-10, I guess. Yeah, see, those were both my first modules for DCS. I have the original KA-50 Black Shark from before DCS World was a thing, but I never played it just because I never got round to it. I didn't have a working stick at the time, so I couldn't play it. And then when I finally got a working stick, it just wasn't real high on the priorities list. I don't have a good intuitive sense for helicopters like I do for fixed wing. And the KA-50 is rather intimidating for someone who's used to the older technology. Likewise with the A-10, didn't have a stick for a long time, and then when I did, its way of systems management is just beyond the capacities of my feeble brain. Not sure if the Germans are going to turn up here or what. Looks like that other yak's starting to get impatient as well. I fly patrol, like a standing patrol between here and the airfield. Which is basically right off my nose. Didn't get a single point for shooting at that Ju-87. I damaged him, I just didn't get any points for it. Obviously he made it back safe and sound. Your gear is down. See, if I had sound, I would have noticed that sooner. I'm gonna go with that excuse. That other yak's probably been flying around like, what the hell is this moron doing? I don't know if you guys have seen it, but ages ago, like, must have been 6 months ago now, I was watching Nuts scream a mission he was doing with Tawny in the A-10, and Nuts comes out with the priceless gem. Why does my A-10 sound like a jet? And it took us a while to figure out what he meant by that, but it turned out that what he meant by that was he could hear like a rushing of wind in the background, and it was because his gear was still down. Yeah, no, I know that, I just didn't notice them somehow. It's the same as the Spit. The Spit has those sticks as well, or at least the early ones do. And then the Spit also has the little flap indicator at the back. I can't believe I didn't notice that. I was so distracted by the sound bug. That's my excuse. I was wondering why I was climbing so slowly. Like, I thought, at these power settings, I should be gaining a lot more altitude than this. Oh, jeez. We'll just agree never to speak of this again, alright? Didn't happen. It was all a dream. There's the airfield. I spy something. Ooh, hello. What might you be? I bet you're not friendly. Ooh, he definitely isn't. There might be two of them down there. I reckon there are two of them down there. Yep. Three, maybe? Or is that friendly chasing him? What? What is that noise? Oh, my engine's back! My engine's back! Yay! Okay, we got a 109 on the nose. Still don't have gun sounds, but at least we got the engine. Gotta watch he doesn't bait me for the 110. God damn it. Definitely gotta work on my aim. Yep, there it goes. There it goes. I was wondering how long that would take. Oh, that's a 190. Shit. Well, we damaged him. But I think I'm out of the fight. I'm gonna have to belly it in. I can't fight like this. Drop the flaps. He's still shooting at me, that's fucking rude. It's a little rough, but we're down. 92% RPM's more efficient. Yeah, I keep forgetting to do that. That's what, 25-50 revs, I think? Something like that. We'll finish mission, and then we'll restart to fix the sound bug. So give me a moment here, guys, and we'll get the game up and running again. I kind of got the suspicion he was trying to bait me when I saw him making maneuvers like he was. He really wasn't putting in the effort to get me off his tail, he was putting in the effort to rope me into sitting on his tail. But at that point, it was kind of too late. So I just committed to trying to kill him. I have actually come across a couple of 109s who really don't know how to get someone off their tail. One of my earlier streams in this game, like oh shit, it must have been a month ago now at least, I got behind a pair of 109s who were absolutely clueless and shot both of them down without really trying, so they do exist, they're just not that common. More usually, if I get into a fight with a 109, it ends very badly for me. I'm going to get back into the server, although that mission ends in half an hour, I think, so we might get time for one more flight before it's over. Imagine the bad 109s don't last long? No, they don't. They don't at all. There's actually a highlight up of that sortie. It was the one where I got, I think it was 2 or 3 kills in a single flight. They were just, I don't know what they were doing, but it wasn't very effective. To be fair, there were other Soviet aircraft in the area, so they were probably distracted trying to deal with them. But yeah, they really were not doing well at getting rid of me. We're going to start down here at Ivanovskoye and head west. Ooh, RPK-10. That's probably not going to help me at all, but we'll take it. The bad 190s don't last long either. I had another flight about a week or two ago where I came across some 190s that thought they could turn with a Spit Mark V. It's like the one thing that they can't do better than the Spit Mark V is turn, and that's what they tried to do. So I disabused them of that notion very quickly. What's that? What, the RPK? It's like a predecessor to the ARC, it's a radio compass. So this is it here, and then the little indicator for it is that one that's hanging out just under the clock. So you can use that to navigate to friendly airfields. I'm not entirely sure how to read it, but yeah, that's what it does. Okay, we'll make a right turn here. I can't see the runway, so we're just going to take off across this clearing. Which, to be fair, is probably the closest thing this airfield has to a runway. I think I definitely tend to overmanage the engines on some of the Soviet aircraft because I'm so used to the Merlin. But it's probably better for fuel efficiency anyway. Hey Atomic! Speaking of fuel efficiency, I think I forgot to reduce my fuel load, so I'm carrying a full load, which might be a little bit of an issue. No fuel dump on these old planes, you've got to burn it off. Yak 1, yeah, Series 69. know where there's a shitload of Germans, or at least where there were a shitload of Germans. Wings of Liberty. I think probably over the next, I don't know, week or two. Thanks for the follow, Atomic. Yeah, over the next week or two, I might look at different mod setups for IL-246, so I can get back into that. I might do some campaigns in that, since the campaigns in this are kind of marred by the shitty AI, and the campaigns in Cliffs of Dover are marred by the shitty interface. It's a shame you can't just take the combat AI from Cliffs of Dover and everything else from this, because that would be a fantastic single-player experience. But, oh well. I hope at some point they do improve the AI, because really that's probably the weakest point of this game, honestly. Much like DCS, the AI is a real weak point there too. They are? Oh, thank God. Because the campaign system in this is really good. Like, I really like the way they've done the campaigns. They just need the AI to get there. Get too high. Let's kind of hang out in the bottom of the cloud layer here. Skim this. There's the airfield, I can just see it. I don't know if those guys are still hanging around. I'm hoping that the 109's gone home. He was definitely leaking something, so he probably would have if he has any sense. I'd love to catch that 110 without support for him. I don't think it's going to happen. Also adding rearm repair and refueling, so it'll be like DCS. Nice! As long as it's not like the DCS repair where it levitates you off the ground then drops you hard enough to break the MiG-21's nose wheel, so you end up more damaged than you were in the first place. That's my main issue with the repair and DCS at the moment. But no, that is good to hear. No activity to be seen down there. They might have all run for home. Yeah, exactly. Gentle mechanical persuasion, right? Smack the thing with a hammer a couple times and you'll be right. What I really want is I want to see adjustable, like, ground adjustable trim be a thing. Hello, what are you? That looks like a yak. I see a centerline radiator. Yeah, I want them to have ground adjustable trim, so things like the yak's aileron trim or the Spitfire's aileron trim. That would be hilarious, because then I want to see like an animation of the little ground crew dudes coming over to your Spitfire with a giant tuning fork and a sledgehammer. That's how you adjust the Spitfire's aileron trim. You bend the tip of the aileron up or down as needed. It was usually done at the factory for that reason. There the other day when I tried to repair my biggin. I think so, yeah. I remember you trying to do something with it and the ground crew wouldn't cooperate. I don't know if they're going to come back for a last-ditch attack on that before the mission ends, but we'll see. they're really finicky about things like that. You've got to have the engine shut down to repair. In some aircraft, you need to have the canopy open so they can actually hear you, because there's no ground intercom, or if the ground power's not on, there's no working comms with them. And then for the Flaming Cliffs 3 aircraft, you need to have the aircraft engine shut down to even rearm, which is really annoying. Oh, of course I went for the artillery. Your in-game name on aisle 2, same as here, Rossman. A Draken would be amazing. I'd love to have one of those. Such a beautiful aircraft. And more deltas is always a good thing. The Mirage 3 is going to be really cool when it comes out. It's probably a few years out. It's quite far down Razbam's to-do list, but at least it's on their to-do list. So when that happens, I'll be making some RAAF skins for it, definitely. Probably some Israeli Air Force ones as well. Run into you before? Yeah, I'm pretty new to this. I did play a lot of Rise of Flight back in the day, and I played a lot of the original IL-2. But I've had this game for years, I just never got into it. So I'm kind of getting the hang of it slowly. Is that the same yak? Yeah, I'd say that's friendly. Oh, it might be a Lavochkin. It's hard to tell from here. Hang on. Yeah, that's a yak. Triangular planform with rounded tips is a yak. Or a lag. And he's turning in on me, so hopefully he is as good at identifying things as I am. Yeah, low pop's pretty normal for me. Because of my time zone, a lot of the servers I like to play on DCS are pretty quiet when I'm awake, which is a shame. I really need to get out of this country. I never wanted to move here in the first place. It is the worst time zone to be in for any purpose. The climate's shit. The politics are shit. Most of my friends and family are still either in Canada or the UK. Australia's a nice place to visit, but I really, really wish we hadn't moved here. Unfortunately, I don't have enough money to move back at the moment. Went home last year for about a month and a half, and it really hasn't changed all that much. It's just like I remember. We even went to the old Uncle Albert's we used to go to for breakfast, and it hasn't changed at all. Like, it is identical to how it was 20 years ago. So that was nice. Oh, hello. Hello. There's something down there. Somewhere. I don't see where the fuck that came from. Oh, there he is. Boom. Oh, there's two somethings. Friendlies on him. Okay, he's coming around head on. Go over the top. It's a 110. Go up and over again. Don't want to risk overshooting. Gives my teammate a chance to get in there as well. God, my shooting is bad today. Oof. I think he just tried to drag bomb them. And into the trees he goes. Drag bombing was actually on the books as a standard doctrinal defense for the Blackburn Buccaneer. If it was pursued, it was to go down to low altitude, drop all of its bombs, I believe they were 2,000 pound bombs, drop all its bombs and then climb out. It was known as, I shit you not, the retard defense. Presumably there were some connotations to the naming of that. Oh, my music stopped. That's a bit rude. Yes, YouTube, I want to keep playing music. There we go. We'll head back up and land. I don't think we're going to see any more action before the end of the mission. I really liked about the Biggin, the autopilot. So easy to use, so stable. I have not used the autopilot in the Biggin. I actually don't use autopilot very much at all, really. I do tend to use the Tomcats as kind of a poor man's auto trim. I'll just flip it on, then flip it back off to get it trimmed properly. But I don't really use any of the other functions of it. I do the same thing with the MiG-21 with the SAU. Yeah, 70s Fleet Air Arm would be amazing. I really want a buck for DCS. It would be fucking beautiful. Get any points for that? No, still sitting down the bottom of the scoreboard. Damn it. That was actually a little risky. I think I almost flew into one of my teammates jumping the queue like that. I normally wouldn't, but because it is near the end of the mission, and I did have a good shot on him, or I had a good setup for a shot. I made a real pig's breakfast of it, but it's just my bad aim. I find this thing's kind of hard to get good steady shots with. It's not very directionally stable, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a Spitfire versus a Hurricane trying to shoot something. The Spitfire is really squirrely and hard to get an accurate shot, whereas the Hurricane's just rock stable. Same problem here. Then again, it's also partly because I'm trying to get my head behind the sight and fly the plane and make sure I don't run into anything at the same time, so it's a bit information overload, I think. Should be the airfield in front of us, just beyond this forest. In fact, I think I can see it from here. Oh, I'm not as close as I thought. Yeah, I find it really useful for auto-trimming the Tomcat. It's also, like, the SAU in the MiG-21 is really good as just a I can't be bothered to hold this aircraft stable kind of thing. Because the MiG-21 is very sensitive in pitch, and the pitch trimmer is really coarse. So if I'm going to be flying basically straight and level for a long distance, I just put the SAU on because it's so much easier than having to deal with the aircraft porpoising up and down. Yep, there we go. The Germans won. Then again, they also outnumbered us. Let's see what mission we get next. No points. None at all. So I'll probably be doing this for about another maybe 2 or 3 hours. Probably won't be much more than that because, as I said, I have got an appointment to go to. When I get back, probably almost immediately when I get back from that, Tawny will be coming on and he was going to do some dogfights. He was going to do some yesterday, but he's definitely doing some today. And I'll be jumping in there. I've got to try and regain the advantage. He's figured out how to deal with me in the Mirage, with him in the Hornet, so I've got to figure out how to crack that. I think I have an idea, but I'm not 100% sure. I know what he's doing to beat me, like I know why he's beating me, I'm just not entirely sure how to avoid the situation that sets him up for that. So I've got to do some testing, I think. Throw things at the wall until something sticks. I also would like to get some more MiG-21 and MiG-29 dogfighting in, just because I do need to get better at them. Fly at night, the Reds usually outnumber the Blues. I've seen it about half and half. Around this time when I get on, it's usually the Germans with the numerical superiority, but then if I get on a bit later in the day, it swaps around the other way. Waiting for next mission. Well, anytime this week. Might maybe disconnect and reconnect. Maybe I have to do that. No, it looks like it's still resetting. Fly both sides by becoming a master in the 110. The 110 is actually a lot more capable than I thought it was. Jammer has been showing me the light. I'm nowhere near good enough to fly the thing in combat, but I can see how it's able to do what it does. It's surprisingly stable. So I developed a whole new respect for those things. Killed 7 guys straight with it, clipped the 1 kill on my Twitch. It was a crazy snap roll kill. I'll have to check that out later. P-38 will be great. Yeah, the P-38 should be interesting. Although, the problem I've always had with the P-38 is just the way that the cockpit is so heavily framed. I don't know why I don't know why Lockheed did that. And I don't know why it was never rectified. I guess in real life it would be less of an issue than it is in-game, and probably if I had VR it would be less of an issue, but heavy canopy framing like that just really bothers me. It's one of the reasons I don't fly the Hurricane more. Yeah, I've been watching a few of his recent streams where the 110's getting too easy for him now, so he's going to ever more crazy stuff, like the Stuka with the gun pods, or the Henschel now, the HS129 is his new jam, which is hilarious to watch, because people never suspect it. I had a run-in with him, was it a couple days ago? I was in a Spitfire, and I see a Henschel dogfighting another Spitfire, and it's like, Thankfully he was distracted enough that I managed to swoop in and bag him just before he killed the other Spit. He was about to kill the other Spit, so I saved that guy's life. But it's funny, because he flies all these aircraft that you kind of come in thinking, that's not a threat to me, that thing's a sitting duck, it's an easy target, how hard could it possibly be? And before you know it, you've bled all your speed and he's behind you. And yeah, it was a very rude awakening for me. I came in from the kind of historical perspective, where I had assumed 110s were basically easy kills because... Why did it not join? Because of the historical context, where often they were running full fuel, they were being used as a long-range escort, so they were quite close to the bombers. They didn't... Has the server crashed? What's going on? You know, like, everything was working against them, basically, and so I kind of viewed them as easy kills. And then I found out what they're actually capable of, the hard way. Yeah, it looks like the server might be down. That's annoying. That's very annoying. Bear with me here, we'll see if it comes back up. She's dead, Jim. That is way beyond my level, so we're not going to join that. See, I could join this server. Jammer recommended this as well. This server, just to get the feel of the aircraft. But on the other hand, it seems to have advanced engine management turned off. And if I, like, it just feels wrong to me flying a Spit and not controlling the revs as well as the boost. I'm so used to it, having full control over the engine, that when it's on the game engine control mode where I don't have full control over it, it just feels weird. And I can't deal with it very well. Wings of Liberty, why are you dead? Please come back up. Knights of the Air is empty as well, unfortunately. I think this is about the time of day where a lot of the servers do empty out. Because I think it's getting to be sort of evening in the US, if I'm not mistaken. Want to do some duels? Yeah, sure, why not? Name a server. Just be warned that I do have a very high ping because Australia, so there's a few that I think Beloga I can't join because my ping's too high. And there are a few others as well. Give me 5, I'm not set up? Yeah, no worries. Wait and see if Wings of Liberty is dead, or if it's just taking a while to change mission. In the meantime, let's see. Might just do a quick mission, maybe. Let's go with Yak 7. I need to get better at getting my head behind the sight and getting shots off, so we'll practice against 109. Watch my clip while you wait. That is not a bad idea. Oh, there it goes. One more roll and he's going to be in a very bad spot. I don't know why I'm trying to head track. I always do that when I watch other people play. I'm so used to it now. God, that thing's so maneuverable in good hands. Very nice. Yeah, he took me up for a couple flights in it, but I'm not at the level where I can manage everything at once yet. So, kind of the observation that made Jammer think maybe the 110 would be a good aircraft for me is that from the way he was describing flying it, it sounded to me very much like me flying the Mirage in DCS. And I really like flying the Mirage. It's one of the aircraft I'm better at. So, yeah, he got me into the 110, but I'm not quite at the level where I can fly like that yet. There's too much, well, not too much, but there's more to handle in the 110 than there is, obviously, in a fly-by-wire aircraft from the 80s. So, one day, like, I can understand the theory, I get that, it's just putting it into practice, it's a little difficult. I don't just fly fly-by-wire stuff, I do usually actually fly the older aircraft like the MiG-21, but the Mirage is just so pleasant to dogfight in because you can kind of switch off your flying brain and just work with your geometry brain, if that makes sense. Let's see how this goes. DCS had better VR performance. I mean, I can't afford VR anyway, so it's not really a concern for me at the moment, but I would like to try it, and I think kind of the point where I'm going to start seriously saving up for VR, I've got to upgrade my entire PC first to even run it, but the point where I start really considering it is when the resolution improves a little, because at the moment it's just, in DCS in particular, it's too hard to spot aircraft, and it can also be a bit of an issue with reading stuff in the cockpit. Got a little turbulence on here as well to make it that little bit more challenging. I gotta get the sense of the lead for this thing's guns. I'm not quite there yet. So if this was a player and he was maneuvering like this, I'd be looking over my shoulder, because this is what somebody does when they're trying to bait you. I know for sure if someone's behind me, I maneuver a hell of a lot more aggressively than what he's doing. Usually to the point of stalling the aircraft at low altitude, but oh well. There was a hit there. A bit more nose down trim, I think, is what we need. Also very much used to having wing guns, like on the Spit and the Hurricane, not nose guns, which kind of throws off the aim a little. It's actually better to have the guns near the center of the aircraft. It makes it more accurate, but it's just difficult to adjust. There we go. I think that was only a single wave, so yep, we can hop back out. Yeah, VR is kind of funny in the sense that, like, Nuts plays in exclusively VR for DCS and he swears by it now. He will not play with track IR at all. But there's a couple of problems with it. The spotting is one, especially in DCS. Another one is that, obviously, you're moving around a great big thing attached to your head. Your neck's going to get sore real quick. And he has things like his HMD fogs up, or it slips around on his head, or something like that happens. So he has a lot of trouble actually keeping eyes on me when we fight, like a lot of trouble. I also have terrible eyesight, as the glasses might suggest, so I have used VR exactly once, very briefly. It wasn't for any kind of game, it was just like a VR experience thing, and I couldn't see shit. It wouldn't fit properly over my glasses, and if I took them off, my eyes wouldn't focus. I'm ready. Beloga server? I don't think I can join Beloga. I think last time I tried I got kicked for high ping. If you want to do one of the training servers we were on before, maybe? If I can remember what they were called. 72 AG. 7 aim. Now I just gotta find it again. For some reason, it is not showing. Unless I'm blind. It doesn't look like it's up. 72 AG's gone. Try Beloga, see how it goes. Yeah, I'll try it, but I can pretty much guarantee I'm going to get kicked. I think Beloga's in Russia, right? That's going to be at least 400 millisecond ping for me. Probably more like 500. One of the other things as well is, coming from the streaming side of things, VR seems quite difficult to set up for a stream, and it tends to be more jittery, not always, but it tends to be more jittery, so it can be quite hard to watch sometimes. So I think for now, Track IR is the better bet for me as a streamer and as someone who has an old computer and no money. But I would like to definitely try VR at some point. It does seem like that's going to be the way forward in the future. Go to D1, understoodable, once I find it. What plane do you want to fly? Let's go with the AUG-7, I guess, since that's what I usually end up flying. I know I'm better with the Spitfire, but I usually fly the AUG. So let's get this. Oh, you're locked to 31% fuel. Nice. And no mods, don't need to worry about that. There we go. Oh, D1. Helps if I click the right one, doesn't it? Not D2. Okay, that's already set up. Say when. Open your chat and say go. Oh, that's not how to open chat. That's how to freeze my game, apparently. There we go. Hold on. No dots, I don't think. That's okay. Oh no. No, 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 no. Yeah, that's me toasted. Spawned you without any of your radiators or anything set up? That's rude. Yeah, I know I turned early. I was trying to manage like 5 things at once. So we'll get our revs set to, I think that's about where 92% is. Mixture should already be full. Throttle will leave it firewalled. And then I've got to be real quick on the rads. Turn too late there, I think. I need to stop doing that. And there it goes. Okay, so throttle should, or rev should be about right now at least. So all I've got to worry about is my radiator. Surprisingly, it hasn't actually kicked me for my ping yet. It did last time I was in here. Spin on me. Oh, god damn it. There we go. Ah. I always just push it that little bit too far and lose it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah. There's my mistake. Now he's behind me. I don't think I'm going to be able to get rid of him. And toast. I'm thinking quite seriously about rebinding my flaps in this game because it's in a good spot for DCS, but it's not a good spot to be using them as maneuver flaps. That was a mistake following him up. Shouldn't have done that. Yeah, there we go. I'm lasting a bit longer though. That's the main thing. I'm not expecting to kill him. If I can just last a bit longer against him, that's good, because if I can survive against him for a couple minutes, that means I can survive against the average player a lot longer. Kind of like the situation in DCS between the guys I fly with and Just Dogfight. Like, if I can beat Tawny, I can beat basically anyone in Just Dogfight. Same theory. Fight the really good players, so then you can absolutely destroy the bad players. I say bad, I should say inexperienced, I guess. Oh, there he is. Shit! And there's the spin. Nose down, come on. Can't even see him. There he is. There goes my wing. there he is, just off the nose. He's in the sun. And I'm bleeding way too much speed here. Oh, bye-bye, wing. Yeah. I let my my aircraft get way too slow and he just dropped on me. See, I can usually tell my mistake, like I know what I'm doing wrong, I just notice right after I do it. It's a problem I always have. Did not time that well at all. Really did not time that well at all. I mean, this is like karma for me because this is what I've been doing to the guys in DCS for the past couple of weeks. Tawny's kind of figured out how to deal with me, but for like a week or two now, every time we fought, except for yesterday, or not yesterday, the day before, I've just been killing him over and over, without pause. Settled in there pretty firmly. Oh, catch those spins a bit better. And pilot kill. If I dive slightly before merge, always have better angle coming up from below you. When somebody dives, try to stay at their level. Alright. I will try and do that. It's actually one of the things I've been trying in DCS as well, to negate Tawny's figuring out of my strategy. I just haven't really been applying it here like I should be. Shouldn't have followed that. I was hoping I'd be a little closer when he did that, because I could have caught him, but I didn't. It's too far out. It's a little slow to pull around there. By a little, I mean a lot. Oh, there it is. And once he's behind me, I can't get rid of him. Yeah, exactly. I'm glad that him and Jammer are helping me out with this, because, like, if Jammer hadn't come forward and actually said, like, this is what I'm doing, this is how I do it, I would still forever be trapped in the mindset that the 110 is a UFO and everything else is wrong, not the way I'm flying. Whereas now, I recognize they're actually dangerous, and I know to be careful when I'm engaging them. As opposed to just waltzing in like it's an easy target and getting myself shot down by something that really I should be able to fight against. Oh, there it is. I was wondering where he went. Totally lost sight of him. Oh, oops. Ah. Stalled it. Try again to overshoot with a rolling scissor. Yeah. I have a really bad habit of just, my default response to everything is to turn into it. Which is a habit I need to kick. I do not have the best control authority right now. You got me. Where's your Deedle? How can you stream without a Deedle? Quite easily, actually. I'm not sure if I had damage controls there, or if I was just too slow. I wasn't paying enough attention to my airspeed, but I couldn't get the aircraft to roll very well. I think I probably slowed down too much. That's most likely the issue. Yeah, I might do that a bit later. Probably not right now, but that is a good idea for in the future. Good hit. Of course, the problem is now I can't follow him up like that, and I keep trying to do it, which is really stupid. Pilot snipe. No, I know it's worth it. Might do a couple more and then switch server again, and then probably a couple flights before I have to end the stream. I'll be back on, because I've got an appointment in about 2 or 3 hours. After that, it shouldn't be a very long one. Once I'm back, I will be streaming DCS. So I'll be doing dogfights in that, and you'll be able to see the difference, as well as the mistakes I still make in that as well. Quite get the nose around quick enough. Oh! Shit. Oh, P-39, huh? Oh, come on. That was not intentional at all, by the way. That was me being clumsy. Oh, I think my tail's gone. No, my wing's gone. I almost got a couple hits there. I didn't get hits, but I almost got a couple, so we're making some slow progress. Slow is better than no. 3 or 4 hits and sink a cargo ship, full salvo, sink a Tycho, or do 55% damage to extenders. God damn. That is powerful. Oh, that's the ground. Oh, that was the ground. Well, we're still in one piece, surprisingly. I got greedy. I saw just enough tail. I thought one more turn I could pull it in and get a quick shot, but it was not to be. For watching your stream, take it easy, heading off. Alright man, thanks for stopping by, and I'll definitely check yours out as well. Always love to see a good flying stream. Oh, I do not want to be in front of a P-39. Okay, we'll try not to fly into the ground this time. Oh, I fucked up. I overcooked it. That hurt. Come on, come on, come on. Nice hammerhead. Oh! Oh, wow! That was really well done. I thought I'd get my nose on him before he had a chance to do that, but I was very, very wrong. He's going to do it again here, probably. Can I just get the nose on? Come on. Oh, he's in the sun. God damn it. Okay, let's go right. Not that far right. Come on. Come on. My engine's going to go in a minute anyway, so just looking for anything I can do to him here before it does quit. Oh! 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 Just barely avoided the ground. And there she goes. Oh no! There goes the wing. Nope. I know exactly what he's doing there. Oof. That was a really good shot. Damn. That was a really, really good shot. Holy shit. Oh wow, they've drawn the little D marker on the ground in bridges or something. Pontoon bridge. Hope it helped a bit. Well, it certainly helped me survive a bit longer. I reckon if I can survive against you for about 10 seconds, that gives me probably a minute with anyone else. But no, it is useful. It's helping me get a feel for the aircraft. I'm getting a better sense of when it can spin and when it won't. And also, even though I kept falling for them, I could generally see when you were going to try and go up and hammerhead it. Like, I knew it was coming, I just was dumb enough to follow anyway, thinking, ooh, I can get the nose on, and then I couldn't. So we'll do a couple flights in Wings of Liberty, and then I will have to head out for a bit. So in probably about 4 or 4.5 hours, I'll be live again. If you guys want to see some DCS. Probably a mix of Mirage, MiG-21, and MiG-29. Let's fly from Anapa. Fortunately, I'll be sound asleep by then. That's alright. We all need to sleep, unfortunately. I do really hate being in this time zone. It is so bad. So bad. Okay. Looks like I can take off more or less. I'll kick the rudder over left and then take off that way, I think. That'll be my best bet. I think that's actually the runway over there. See why I was getting so frustrated not being able to fight with that SU-27 nonsense? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I don't know, the Flaming Cliffs 3 flight models to me, even though they're technically all PFM level, they feel wrong. They feel too draggy. And I can't speak with authority on that, but especially the MiG-29, knowing how powerful that thing is and how well it accelerates level, it just feels like it never builds speed again. If there's any AOA on it, it just drags like crazy. It doesn't feel as draggy as the Mirage for obvious reasons, but it does feel draggy, and it doesn't have the Mirage's ability to put that power back on. Like in the Mirage, all I have to do is just slightly drop the nose and ram the throttle forwards, and it'll start picking up speed again. Whereas as soon as I get into a high AOA with the 29, it starts slowing right down. I'll get down to like 280 without even noticing it. So they feel a bit too sluggish to me, like the drag models are off. The F-15, we all know something is wrong with its flight model. That thing's always been a UFO. But I think it's just a Flaming Cliffs 3 aircraft in general, because I noticed when the other guys were flying, say, an F-15, I could beat them in the MiG-29 without too much difficulty, but when they're in a Hornet or a Tomcat, it's really difficult to even hang with them. So I feel like there is something going on there with the flight models, but again, I can't really comment with authority on it. And that is part of the reason why I don't generally fly the Flaming Cliffs 3 aircraft in dogfights. They just don't feel right. Guess who forgot to set the radiators? There we go. Yeah, well, the SU-25T would. I mean, it's got the added weight of all the avionics in it in the second cockpit. Because that's how they made the 25T. They just skimmed over the rear cockpit of the trainer version and bunged a whole bunch of more electronics in there. The only jet I have, SU-27 and F-15, have mostly World War II stuff. Yeah, that's kind of a shame. The Mirage is a lot of fun to dogfight in. There are some iffy things about it, but it's not as bad as Tailhook makes out, I think. I think that's mostly just he doesn't know how Delta Wings, or isn't used to how Delta Wings work, mixed with a few other problems. Everything has its issues. The Hornet's too draggy, the Mirage is probably not draggy enough, the MiG-21 is maybe a little too resilient to high G pulls. So everything has its issues, but the Mirage is good fun to fly and fight in. The MiG-21 is a lot of fun. It's not easy, but it's fun. And it's probably still one of my favorite modules. So I do prefer the older stuff, like sort of early to mid-Cold War is my favorite time period when it comes to jets. So they handle a bit more like the old World War II birds, so they're easier for me to understand. And I just like the old school cockpits. I'm not a fan of glass pits. I really can't process the information very well when it's presented to me in that way. I don't know what it is. I just find it easier to process things when it's physically separated out in different gauges, as opposed to all being on the same screen. So I really hate sort of modern Western-style systems management. It just doesn't sit well with how my brain works. The SU-25, like the old SU-25, that thing, with load on it, doesn't handle very well, but as soon as you get rid of the ordnance on that, it flies, like, suspiciously well. I have heard reports from pilots that have flown both it and the A-10, and they say the SU-25 is a better aircraft in terms of flying. It handles better, it's more responsive, it's faster, but the one in DCS, once you get rid of the ordnance, it feels like it's a bit too nimble. It feels like I'm flying something like an F5 maybe, except not quite as fast. It's hard to explain. Speaking of the F5, now there's a module I'd really like to try sometime. Seems like a really good match for the MiG-21 in terms of maneuvering. The MiG-21 can carry more missiles and it gets better missiles, at least in the form of the R-60 for dogfighting. They both have very bad radar, relatively poor visibility. The MiG-21 has far worse visibility though. But when it comes to an actual dogfight, the two of them are very, very evenly matched. Very evenly matched. So it's a good, fun matchup to fly with those two. I do really enjoy it. Sorry, I had to tab out there to make sure the music was still going. It's slow on that gear change. Oh, the F5. The F5 and the MiG-21 are very, very closely matched in terms of how they fly. Although the 21 is faster and it can climb better, at low level in a dogfight, that advantage just disappears, and they handle so alike that's why the US uses the F5 as an aggressor, because it does handle like a MiG-21 in a kind of dogfight regime. And as well as that, it's also why they're so difficult for me to get away from in close combat, because they handle very similarly to my aircraft. They can turn as well as me, they can accelerate as well as me, so it just comes down to either I have an R60 and I can get in behind them and get the shot off, or it just turns into a stalemate and whoever runs out of fuel first loses. Gunfights against F5s are extremely difficult in the MiG-21. Of course they're behind me. Why wouldn't they be behind me? The thing I will say about the F5 is, of course I haven't flown it, I don't have the module, but from watching Tawny's perspective, or Pom's perspective of flying the F5 against me in the MiG-21, yes, it does have relatively poor visibility if you've come from the Hornet, but compared to the MiG-21, it is so much better. I can't see anything behind me. Like, the MiG-21, imagine everything rear of that canopy arch there was just opaque. It's worse than that. It's so bad. The forwards visibility is much worse than the F5 as well. It's just generally worse. You can't see what's going on outside. You do have a slightly better radar, although that's basically irrelevant in a dogfight because neither radar works well close to the ground or against a hard maneuvering target. So typically, if you can keep an F5 in front of you where you can see him, you've got a chance, but as soon as that F5 vanishes from your vision, or worse still is behind you at any point, you're dead. You'll never see him. And they're so small, like, the MiG-21's very hard to pick up visually as well because of how small it is, but the F5 is just tiny. Germans hanging around here somewhere. I don't know if they're behind me again. There was some attacking the flotilla down here, so they're either going to be heading in towards other targets or RTB. And I'd very much like to spot them and catch them. Thought I saw some traces, but I think that was just a scratch on the perspex. Can be hard to tell sometimes. Heading to bed. Alright, I'll catch you later. Thanks for stopping by. And, I will be, hopefully, oh, there we go, there's a fight. Hopefully soon I'll be, actually getting that SSD finally. Since I should have all the money I need for it to pick up the bigger one that I wanted very soon. Oh, there's something going on down here, alright. Just gotta work out what's what. That looks suspiciously like a 190. Pretty sure that is a 190. I hope he doesn't have friends or I'm in trouble. Yeah, that's German, alright. We've caught him nice and low. Good. I've got to work on this shooting. Would have landed a couple hits there. Oh, I got something behind me. Two somethings. Oh, I'm dead. God damn it. Yeah, I got the 190, but his mates got me. I was hoping I had a teammate in that mix, but apparently not. So it hasn't registered the kill yet, but he is definitely not making it home. He lost his engine. Should get credit for that during this flight, unless he glides it in, maybe. I don't think he's going to have the power to glide it in. He'll probably crash land it. There we go. There's the credit. It was bonkers. Probably going to bed soon too, going into alert mode. Alright, Krup, thanks for hanging out and thanks for helping me get a little bit better at this. I think I need all the help I can get at the moment, so it is much appreciated. Oh, ground loop. I don't know if he's realised his other engine hasn't started yet. It's a pretty questionable takeoff there, but oh well, we're off the ground. Yeah, I got tunnel vision quite badly there on that 190. I should really have broken off my attack sooner, as soon as I realised I'd damaged him. So I'd say those traces I saw were the 109 shooting down whatever teammate was in the area. Or strafing something. I think this might be my last flight for this stream. As I said before, I'll be back on in a couple hours doing DCS, but I need to get myself some lunch because I'm really hungry, and then I gotta go to that appointment. Which will hopefully not take too long. Fighting with full fuel. I can't remember if I reduced the load or not. Doesn't really matter, I guess. I think I am. Short-term memory is not my strong suit. Long-term's pretty good, but not short-term. Rather than going back to the scene of the crime, we'll head up towards those tanks, I think. Seems a little safer, maybe. Probably not. Just between those two large lakes. So it should be easy to spot at least. Almost on time for that change. I will say this is a really beautiful, colourful game. All the different colours in the fields down there. Makes DCS feel a bit drab by comparison. Deal with that later. Phone call. Should really have my phone on silent when I stream, but I keep forgetting to do it. I just see something over there. Yep. There's someone. A sneaking suspicion that might be a German. See if we can creep up on him. That looks like a 109 maybe? Not sure if we've been made yet or not. I should be in his blind spot below and behind him, but if he has any teammates, they might be letting him know that I'm here. Or who knows, he might think I'm his wingman. That is definitely German. Looks like a 109. I see an intake scoop on the left side of the cowling. Let's get a little closer. Yeah, for sure, that is... Oh, actually, hang on. No. Maybe not. 190? Where are you? Let's dive a little under him so we can see his wings. No, it's a Spitfire. Okay. Well, I'm glad I checked. The Spit and the 109 aren't quite hard to tell apart from directly behind. They look very similar. It isn't until you get under or above them and see the shape of the wings that you can really tell. The thing I thought was an air scoop hanging off the side of his cowling was probably his exhaust pipes. So we're over the tanks now. Don't see any ground fire yet. Two 109s that I had a run-in earlier with are still over the same area. Oh, hang on, something's going on down there. Looks like someone just bombed that bridge, but I can't see what dropped it. There is definitely something going on down here. Oh, right there. JU-87, I think. It looks like it. Missed. And blacked myself out. It's alright, we'll go over the top so he can't follow me up. Oh, he's trying. He's trying. Oh shit, no, that's a 110. He has a friend. Oh god. But so do I, buddy. A little heavy on the controls there. Come on, get this 110 off me, Spitfire. Okay, now we'll get him. Bit of a whirling mess going on here now. Hopefully that spit will cover me. Got some hits. Got some more hits. I think he's going in. Oh, maybe not. Yep. Hey, we got one. Henry Puffington. Looks like my tail's clear. Oh, no it's not. Shit. Oh, that's a 109. That's a pair of them, probably. Mr. Spitfire, come help me. Oh shit. There's several of them here. This one's trying to get back in, I think, on me. Or is he going for my teammate? I'm looking on for my teammate. Try and help this Spit. I think he's the lead aircraft there. Yeah, that's German in front. Just gotta watch my tail here. There's a hit. That's a yak in front of me. Barely avoided that 190. Can't see where he's gone now. Get rid of his fucking canopy. There they are. Really hard to tell who's who, but I think it's a bunch of Germans on one of my teammates. What are you? There's the Stuka. He's the trailing aircraft. So all the others there are Germans. And I think they've just downed my teammate. Try for the 87, then we're going to have to run or crash land, one of the two. Oh! Oh! Should have dropped the flaps. Didn't quite make it. Did not quite make it. But I think I may have damaged him enough to get the kill. Or at least when he eventually goes down. Hey, go. Yeah, it's missing a few bits and upside down. I don't think it's supposed to be like this. You know what? Let's do one more flight. I think I've got time for one more. So I got... What did it credit me with? I'm pretty sure that Ju-87 is going to go down sooner or later. I hit him pretty solid. I saw a cannon hit go off. I know I tagged one of the 190s, but I don't think it was good enough to kill him. And I definitely bagged one of the Germans there. There we go. 2 kills, 1 light, 1 medium. So the 110 was the medium, the light was the 190 I got at the start. I survived that, because I came down in friendly territory. 15 points. And we might see some more kills come in as those guys start trying to limp home. Very happy with that. Might be highlight material, I think. It was an absolute clusterfuck, but it was a fun clusterfuck. So we know there's a pretty intense fight going on over those tanks. Might just head straight back over there. See, I'm a little wobbly on the rudder. My feet are like ice blocks at the moment. It's really cold in here. It's been snowing out at my parents' place about 100 kilometers from here, slightly higher up in the mountains. It's been snowing out there for like the whole week. So it almost looks like home out there. I might not be streaming as much next week because I'm probably going to head out at some point to visit them. And my, obviously I can't take my PC with me and my internet there is not very good either. They're still on satellite of all things, so I can watch streams, I just can't stream myself. It's friendly. There is apparently a German around here somewhere, right by the airfield, but I don't want to get too distracted. Yeah, they're still over those tanks. That's where we're headed. There we go, there's a kill. Not sure which one that was, but there's kill number 3. Might have been the Stuka. They're all down low, most likely, so we'll level off. There's no point going too high. You know what, you're right, Full Fidel is actually much more fun. I know, right? At first I thought, oh my god, it's going to be so drudgerous, I'm going to have to learn all this stuff. And then once you actually do it, it's so much better. You have so much more control over the aircraft, it's much more engaging. Much more immersive as well, and if something goes wrong, like if something breaks, you've got more options for saving the aircraft. I really like having more control over what's going on with it, which is why I don't like playing with like the game avionics in DCS or the reduced fidelity engine controls in this, like the automatic engine management. I really don't like it. I'd much rather be totally in control of my aircraft. So that city, right about there, is where the tanks are. That's where half the German team is, so we'll go say hi to them. Let's dial my mixture back a bit so I'm not smoking like crazy. Make sure no one's getting set to bounce me. Made the best landing I ever made with a broken engine after I over-revved it and made it die. Nicely done. Yeah, most of my... like, I've made some alright landings with intact aircraft, but most of my really phenomenally good landings have been with a crippled plane that shouldn't even be flying. I don't know why, it's just a thing with me. I'm much better at flying a fucked up plane than an intact one. There we go, there they are. That's where they are. Tanks are there. My only, like, 100% perfect textbook carrier landing to date was in IL-2 1946, in an SBD Dauntless with no aileron control cables and a seized up engine. I had to... That was actually how I learned the secondary effects of controls, was because I realised I'd lost the ailerons and I just started hammering on the controls trying to figure out if there was any way to keep the aircraft flying. And I realised that if I held the rudder over, like pinned the rudder to one side and held it for a second or two, it would stall that wing. So that's how I rolled, and I flew back to the carrier and landed just using the rudder to roll the aircraft, which is very useful information. And when I went to fly in real life for the first time, I already knew the secondary effects of controls. At least the secondary effects of yaw. But I picked up, you know, the effects of the other controls as well. A bit further down the line playing IL-2 and also even War Thunder. Like, even as geeky as War Thunder's flight models are, it does model secondary effects. To the point I'd actually say it over-models them. What are you, and why are you turning in on me? You look like an FW-190. I'm quite certain you're an FW-190. Come here. Just make sure there's nothing else on me. Yep, it's a 190. He outdives me, so I've got to watch my speed. I've also got to watch I don't overshoot here. See, my roll rate's quite bad now because my ailerons are not very responsive under the high speed. It really mucks with the amount of force necessary to pull the controls, and also causes canvas to balloon. I just got hit from behind. He's got a teammate right on me. I want to see if I can get him at least. No, I'm toast. Should have waited for my teammates to get here. But I somehow survived that landing. Landing is probably not the right word to use, but we survived it. Only slightly bloodied and bruised. Tunnel vision strikes again. I should have known that there would be another one. There's the 190. That's probably another 190, maybe a 109. So yeah, we have got 3 kills. 2 mediums, so that was the Ju-87 that crashed. So I got a 190 and a 110 and a Stuka. And that's for 1 death and 2 crash landings. So not bad. I will definitely take that. And I think that's going to about do us here. I'm going to have some lunch. I'm going to go get that appointment out of the way and figure out who just called me. And I'll be back on in about 3 or 4 hours. So if you guys want to see some DCS, I will be back on, and I'll be streaming some DCS dogfighting with Tawny and the boys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll just see who I can send you along to. It looks like Pom is flying, so you guys know the routine, that's where you're headed. Get that set up and on the way. So I definitely feel like I'm getting somewhere in this. I'm flying a lot better than I have been. Still a lot of of work to go, a long way to progress, but we're getting there slowly. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I will catch you guys later.